Hey everybody. All right, so we're just getting situated here. Backpack on, camera on, check, check, check. Wi-Fi off, check. Gotta find our stream on Facebook. Watch live. And we're up and running. All right, so let's get our audio going here. And you know what? We're just going to start off with the cat right off the bat because here is Flint. And I don't have any audio on Flint. But anyways, you can see Flint right there. He's going, well, I think he's investigating something. Hello, Christy. Hello, Rochelle. I have to put my other earbud in because I can't hear myself. Hey, buddy. What's going on? Hi. Good morning. Thank you for your donation. So what do you think, Flint? Is it gonna rain or not? So it may rain, it may not rain. I don't really know, but all of the rain gear is set up and ready to go here. So if it starts raining, we're not gonna stop the party. We're gonna keep going. Hello, Mary Jerome. Hello, Jessica. And there goes Flint. All right, so let's see who else is out and about. We didn't do small cats on TikTok. So for those of you that aren't up to the new millennial game, we go live on TikTok 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Actually do the same thing I'm doing here, other than I do it on TikTok. What's up, dude? Now, I don't know if you can see him, but Gilligan is laying down right at the bottom of his rock wall over here. So hoping you guys can get a view of him. I'll play his audio for you.
Gilligan is a male Canada lynx. Approximate date of birth, January 1st, 2007. Rescued May 5th, 2013. Gilligan's age is unknown. He was purchased along with Skipper at an auction. Gilligan had the tiniest cage, measuring 5 by 7. It was also the dirtiest of all the cages. The mud floor was not mud, but feces covered with a sprinkling of straw. It appeared as though Gilligan had tried to keep much of his waste confined to one area on top of his plastic doghouse. He had perched atop the house day after day to defecate. The large pile of feces cascaded out the side of his cage. It was clear that his cage had not been cleaned in several months. Strewn about the cage were bits of meat, bones, and fur. The doghouse was too small for Gilligan to fit in, and other than a small child's play picnic table, he had nowhere to escape the weather. He was forced to sleep in the open and surrounded by filth. Because Gilligan's cage was so small, there was not enough room for big cat rescuers to enter it with nets and a crate. So using wire that they had brought, they constructed a secondary enclosure to the door and inside placed the crate filled with soft, dry hay. Gilligan was unsure about this new crate, and despite its appeal of warmth and dryness, he refused to enter it. He was left to contemplate entering the crate on his own, while big cat rescuers moved on to try and catch Skipper. After Skipper was captured and carried to the big cat rescue trailer, Gilligan had still refused to enter the crate. With no other options, he was sedated with a blow dart. He quickly fell asleep, and Dr. Justin did a full exam. After the exam, he was gently placed in the crate and given the reversal agent for the tranquilizer. When he awoke, he was in a soft bed of hay, being loaded into the trailer for his long trip back to Tampa. Gilligan seems absolutely blissful in his new enclosure. In his first days, he constantly sniffed all around, soaking in the fresh air. He was also quite amazed with the wildlife that abounds at the sanctuary. From cardinals to lizards to squirrels, he is very observant and intently watches as they flit and scurry about.
All right, cool. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, you're like my helper, man. What these walkabouts would be without you sometimes. You have saved my rear occasionally. And then called me out about the whole being in the stony thing. But I appreciate that. Somebody's keeping me on my toes. All right, so we're looking for cats. It is currently drizzling. I don't think it's gonna actually full open pour, but yeah, it looks a little dreary here. Cheryl, I can't tell, but thank you. If it didn't go through, thank you for trying at least. Yeah, Gilligan really does kind of frame up the story as to what we do here at Big Cat. All right, we go out, we rescue the cats, we give them the best possible life we can. Everybody remaining good and socially distant while working. Cool. I will be going by Loki actually, but where Loki is kind of a cellular hole, like black hole. So we'll see if we can get there. So let's see if King Tut's around. Morning, guys. Okay. Bridget trying to hide from the camera. Hey, Naomi. Tutters, you're like right here, man. What's going on? Good morning. I gotta adjust the camera because you're so close. Hold on. There we go.
King Tut is a male Savannah cat, born approximately January 1st, 2009, arrived October 16th, 2012. We didn't plan it this way, but on National Feral Cat Day, we were asked to rescue 2 exotic cat hybrids who had been dumped by their owners and were now starving to death. The cats had been trapped by animal control and no one had claimed them, so the Audubon Society drove them to us to see if they could get a second chance here. One of the cats was a very sweet Bengal cat who was adopted by one of our big cat rescuers. The second is an unknown mix, but closely resembles a jungle cat. He is not as friendly, and because of this, he will remain a permanent resident here at the sanctuary. His caregivers have grown quite close to him over the past couple of weeks and have given him the name King Tut. When Tut arrived, he was very underweight and had a wound on one of his feet. His wound was cleaned and sutured by Dr. Wynn, and he was neutered. King Tut has finally been moved outdoors to a large natural enclosure.
Okay, so there's the audio on King Tut. Hi, buddy. He's an old man. King Tut is, my personal opinion, not fact, I think he's one of the sweetest cats here. Right, he has a very sweet temperament, just sits there, he chills out, watches everybody around him. Right, King Tut's awesome. All right, so Nora, hello. All right, so time to keep moving along here. Where is Perfection? Perfection actually is his neighbor, and she is usually in a den that I cannot get to. So she's probably way back there. I'm gonna adjust the camera here real quick, so sorry for the noise that it might make. There we go. All right, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'll walk through the rain here. We're gonna take a look at the destruction of the sandcastle from Duchess. Hey, Melissa. Oh, Naomi, thank you. I'm gonna guess you were talking about Tutters, though. The beautiful, the gorgeous Duchess, up top on top of her stone enclosure.
Duchess is a female tiger. We don't know how old she is. She arrived at Big Cat Rescue in August 2015 with 3 other big cats after being confiscated by the Ohio Department of Agriculture. Her owner had failed for years to comply with a very basic 2012 Ohio Dangerous Animals law that just required decent caging and registering the animals. That law was passed after a man named Terry Thompson in 2011 let 56 dangerous animals, including 38 big cats, out of their cages and then killed himself. As dusk approached, sheriff's deputies sadly had to shoot most of the animals. Duchess is a real beauty who enjoys stalking golf carts as they ride by her enclosure. She loves enrichment, especially spices like apple pie and pumpkin, and bloodsickles. She is a favorite of our tour guests, as she often positions herself perfectly for photos. She's also great with operant conditioning and very smart. Her favorite game is stalking keepers in the morning before breakfast. She leaps out over her tree stump at them, and she has one of the best chuffs, a noise tigers make as a greeting.
Why, hello! Are you coming to give us a tour of your destruction? Yeah, you told that sandcastle what was up, huh? You really did a number on that thing. It's all over the place here. You're gonna keep your keepers busy. There's little pieces all over, so yeah, somebody's gonna have to go in and fine-tooth comb your mess, girly. I haven't seen Priya out right now, but I have a feeling Priya's in her den, and Bridget will go say, oh, no, I do see Priya, and I don't think we're gonna be able to see her on the camera. You're probably not going to be able to see her. I'll see what I can do here. All right, so maybe in the almost dead center of the screen, you could see a head sleeping in the ferns. But we're going to let her sleep and move along here. As soon as I fire up the audio, it usually wakes up the cats. So all right, so we are going to move along and see if we can see Loki, as he now has been transitioned to the kitten cabana. And I think I see him close to the window. Yep, I sure do. If it gets a little glitchy, it is because, well, it's probably a gigantic magnet underneath the buildings here. So, as in, we lose reception anywhere close to a building around this place. But hey, here's Loki. Hi. Hello.
Loki is a male Savannah cat. We estimate he was born in 2017. He arrived at Big Cat Rescue in December 2017 after Big Cat rescuers picked him up in Alabama and drove him to his forever home here at our sanctuary. Savannah cats are hybrid cats that do not exist in nature. They are the cruel, man-made result of breeding a domestic cat with an African serval exotic cat. Loki's story is tragic but far from uncommon. He was purchased as a kitten from a breeder by a couple in Alabama to be a pet. But just before Christmas 2017, a domestic cat rescue in Dothan, Alabama received a call from the owner that the couple was divorcing and no longer wanted Loki. He was neutered, declawed, underweight, and they couldn't handle his wild ways. They kept Loki in a wire cage without much human interaction. This happens way too often because people are lied to by hybrid breeders who tell them hybrids make good pets. Nothing could be further from the truth. Hybrids usually bite, spray copious amounts of urine, howl through the night, and can suffer from genetic defects such as inflammatory bowel disease. There is no rabies vaccine approved for use in wild cats, including hybrids. Loki is lucky to be one of the few Savannah cats rescued by a GFAS-accredited sanctuary. But that still doesn't make up for the fact that he must spend his entire life in a cage just because somebody wanted a designer exotic cat.
So there is the story of Loki. He is fairly curious right now as to what I'm doing here. He keeps looking back like, hey, what's going on? Tell me more. Who are you? My mask is in my eye. Not fun. I think I was for a second there, and then he just moved away. Whoa, hey, somebody's saying hi. Yes, don't go out and get a Savannah cat. I don't care what people say. Well, you know, Savannah, that 5 Savannah cat is ready to be domesticated. No, they're not. Even your cat, thousands of generations along, it is not completely domesticated. It has its moments of not being happy. Yeah, looks like Max is yelling at Rich as Rich tries to do his keeper job over there. So the yelling that you hear is just one of the tigers. I think it's might be Max. Oh, it's Kimba over there. Just telling Rich how to do his job. Mickey, hello. All right, so I am looking for Simba right now. Simba was out and about, and then it started drizzling, and I have lost sight of the Simba cat. So, Simba, are you in here? No, don't see him. Good morning, Kama. Yes, Nikki's got a great point. There's too many animals in shelters looking for love. You want a cat that's going to be the best possible, I guess, loving animal for you. Go to a shelter. Find a cat that needs a home. Don't go get a cat like a Savannah that will destroy your house. And it looks like Kali Tiger is out and about. So we're going to say hi to Kali real quick.
Thank you.
And today's fundraiser, just so everybody knows, is our general fundraiser.
Hey, Angie, can we put the wheels together?
So that goes pretty much right to everything. That might be my stomach.
Yeah.
It might be my stomach. All right, so...
Thank you.
Kali the tiger was born in a travel trailer in the year 2000, the day after her mother and a transport full of tigers, leopards, cougars, bears, and wolves were dropped off at the Augusta Conservation Education, a small sanctuary in Georgia. The founder of the organization rescued over 300 animals in the 20 years that he ran the facility, but in 2014, with his life complicated by a bitter divorce, he could no longer continue and began placing the remaining animals elsewhere. Most of the animals at Big Cat Rescue were mistreated before coming here. Kali was much luckier. She was well cared for. Most cats that arrive here quickly show signs that they're happy to be here, glad they are no longer being mistreated. Kali was different. When Kali first arrived, she was depressed. She would spend the entire day sulking atop her platform. At dinner time, she would come down to eat, but would then immediately go right back up to her perch. Perhaps she missed her former owner and former home. But a few weeks after her arrival, Kali made a complete turnaround. Now she bounces up to the keepers, chuffing all the way, plays with her toys and enrichment, and loves lounging in the tall, soft grass. Thankfully for Kali, she will never have to worry about being moved from her home again. Big Cat Rescue will provide her with a stable and loving home for the rest of her life.
Hi, Kali. All right, I have to adjust my mask here. Since we have to, oh man, headphone fell out. Everything's going sideways, guys. Okay, so there we go. Good enough. All right, so a rule that I've come to live by doing these lives is that if somebody's asking a question, don't immediately think that they may be hating. All right. A lot of times, some of the simple questions that haters do ask turn out to be actually somebody that just wants to learn. So let's help them along, right? I see many of you are doing that already. So awesome. All right, so here is Jazzy Tiger. I think Jazzy Tiger's in heat, so she's all over the place right now. So if it looks like she's pacing, she's got a lot of nervous energy bent up. Somebody's wanting a boy tiger.
Jasmine is a female tiger whose age is unknown. She arrived at Big Cat Rescue in August 2015 after being confiscated by the Ohio Department of Agriculture along with 9 other big cats from an owner who failed for years to comply with a very basic 2012 Ohio Dangerous Animals law that just required decent caging and registering the animals. Big Cat Rescue volunteered to provide a permanent home for Jasmine, and 3 of the other big cats and other sanctuaries took in the remaining 6 cats. Jasmine is a happy tiger known for making unique sounds which make her keepers laugh. Like all tigers, Jasmine loves the water. She really enjoys being showered with a hose during hot afternoons at the sanctuary, and she is a star at operant conditioning.
All right. So there we go. There's Jazzy Girl for you. And knowing me, while I'm looking at my phone, I'm gonna get sprayed. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry about that little panic slip there. One of the things that you don't want to do is get sprayed by a tiger. Okay, I'm gonna move along. This is not, I'm in the splash zone. All right. What's going on, man? Oh, hey, check it out.
She wants a bath. She does. She got one earlier, so she might not now.
She seems to be in the more of a want a boy
Yeah, she's very
mood.
much so. Hi.
Oh, hey, look at this.
Go on.
She's like, I'm at the ready.
Man. She's one of the few that likes getting sprayed with the hose. Kimba also likes it too, but he does not like me. As you probably heard a moment ago.
Oh, really? Oh, that was you and Kimba.
Oh, she's done.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you very much. All right. Yes, the dash to safety there. All right, so just scrolling through the comments, see if I missed anything. And if we could, please no spamming. That's not cool. All right, where is Sapphire? And so if you're new here, this is Sapphire's enclosure, right? We just passed all of Jasmine's. It's gigantic. And so here is Sapphire's, right? Massive, massive area that she has. So why don't we spray her? Okay, so if she lives alone, as who was that? As Becca said, right? Spain is it could be, well, is invasive. But if it was healthier for the animal to spay them, then we would spay them. And so since the cat is intact, it's not healthy to go ahead and do that. So we weigh those, you know, the consequences there. Now, if the cats are together, we will go ahead and usually fix the male first. If you can read about listen to the stories about Kim and Zabu, even I know they passed, but that's a good example where we spayed Cameron. Didn't really help too much, so we took care of Zabu, and that seemed to fix the problem. And so there is Sapphire snoozing away.
Sapphire is a female white tiger who was born approximately 2010. She arrived at Big Cat Rescue in August 2015. Her owner had received many federal law violations for improper care of the cats without consequence. But when he failed for years to comply with a very basic 2012 Ohio law that just required decent caging and registering the animals, the Ohio Department of Agriculture seized the cats and sent Sapphire and 3 other cats to us so that they would receive proper care for the rest of their lives. When you hear people say they are breeding white tigers to preserve the species, that is a lie. There is no species of white tiger. The white coat is actually a genetic defect that often carries with it other defects like poor vision. In addition, white tigers in this country all descend from one white tiger brought to this country in 1960 and are horribly inbred, resulting in more genetic flaws. Sapphire is no exception. She is severely cross-eyed, a very common defect. This causes her to sometimes attack her own back legs, likely thinking another tiger is behind her.
Yep, she is snoozing away. All right, so Daniel, I saw your question in there. Do big cats bleed when they are in heat? You know what? A couple things here. First off, being a male human, I have limited information on the topic. And secondly, honestly, I have no idea. So that might be a good thing to pop in the Google box and see what comes up. I'm actually, I can't really say I'm interested, but I guess it would be a point to know. All right, so moving along here. All right, so moderators, I have a request. If you see the big messages with the spammers in there asking for money, can we just shut them down? I hate hijackers. It's like a pet peeve of mine. And I did see the question about space. So how much space do they have? All right, so at Big Cat Rescue, we do something really cool. If you take a look at our enclosures, and you'll notice that they're round. They're not square, right? So we have round ones over here, and you can see how they're kind of bubbles all the way down. Thank you very much. All right, so these round bubbles here, we can divide them up, we can connect them, we can expand them, we can contract them with the tunnel systems, right? So the tunnel systems, or even the gates, and you'll see cats walk through gates all the time. So I'm gonna walk over here with a little luck. Amanda closes Arya's enclosure, so I'm at no threat of getting yelled at right now. So over here, right? Let's say we have a cat that's in this area, right, this bubble, and they need more space. Well, what we can do is we have a tunnel that's right here, little tunnel, that connects to this big area, and we could open this up and let a cat have even more space here. So it's a really cool way of, if all of a sudden we have a ton of cats, we can give them all good size enclosures. If we don't have very many cats, we can open it up, and I think Aria right now has this big area and also this big area, and then Amanda has the other half all the way down. All right, so I'm going to scroll through real quick. All right. Thank you very much for the donation, Kevin. Much appreciated. Now, our fundraiser for today is our general fundraiser. It goes to support the cats. If you do have a couple extra bucks kicking around, it could go to help these guys. Give you the warm and fuzzies today. No denomination is too small. So if you got like $1 kicking around, that could help. Right? And since we are a nonprofit, 100% of the money that comes from Facebook, from these videos, goes directly back to the animals. So Amanda is over here. I am hoping I'm not going to get yelled at, but maybe we might see her. She's all the way back there giving me dirty looks. I'm going to play the audio on Amanda Tiger since she's back there and I'm over here.
Amanda Tiger was born in 1996 at a tiger breeding mill in New Jersey. She was bred to be used as a pay-to-play photo prop. It never makes sense to breed more cubs just so that you can use them to raise money to feed last year's cats. However, that is all too often what happens. The facility in which these three were born eventually fell into disrepair and was ultimately shut down by regulators following the escape of a tiger. In 2003, Wild Animal Orphanage in Texas took in all 24 of the tigers from the New Jersey facility. At the time, we wondered, how could they afford to take in 24 tigers? Well, it turned out they couldn't, and in 2010 they filed bankruptcy. It took over a year and a half to find permanent homes for all the cats. This was largely due to the costs, an average of $10,000 a year in food and vet care per cat. Thanks to an anonymous donor couple, Amanda was rescued and sent to Big Cat Rescue in 2011 with her two brothers, both of whom lived into their early 20s before passing away.
So there's the story of Amanda Tiger. I am actually very surprised that I have not been yelled at yet, and her ears are up. This is pretty rare for me being around here. Sharon, thank you very much for your donation. Doris, thank you very much for your donation. You guys are going to help these kids. That's going to help these cats. Mary Jerome, thank you for answering that question. Yes, I am a volunteer here. All right, we do have a few employees, but I am a volunteer here. And we did just publish a video, and for those of you that did see it with Walkabout, where Bridget led me through the tunnels onto vacation. So if you want to see how those work, you can go see that hilarious video and how that all worked out. So here is our 2.5 acre vacation rotation enclosure.
In the wild, big cats would roam hundreds of miles. They are intelligent, active creatures who prefer to hunt at dusk and dawn, but who can see very well at night. They spend their days sleeping and getting ready for the darker hours when they reign supreme over all their domain. Unfortunately, most captive situations provide far too small a space for these big cats. And even worse, they are usually locked into tiny, concrete, windowless cells called night houses during the time of day when they would most like to be out roaming. The reason they're locked up at night is because zoos aren't open at night, and they want the cats to be active when paying guests are there. In most cases, there will be one large enclosure that the public sees, and then tiny jail cells where the cats spend days at a time.
All right, I'm gonna pause the audio, go around the other side of vacation. Since I wear the camera on my chest, it makes it really hard to walk sideways for like 100 yards. I'm glad you guys liked that video of the tunnel. We had a lot of fun making it, and I had a lot of fun editing it to try to make it something that people could really enjoy, right? I like making funny things and I like making people laugh, so I'm glad that worked out. Max is out here somewhere, and I'll turn the camera back in just a second. Just want to get to an area where you guys can actually see Vacation. So for anybody that's new, it doesn't look like this tiny little place. Did you wear those pink gloves? I did wear the pink gloves. I forgot my gloves that morning. I forgot my long sleeve shirt. I forgot knee pads. I was so focused on making sure I had the camera set up and communicating with Carol and Afton and all the awesome people that were there to help out that I forgot everything I needed. So, oh well. Okay, so here's the rest of the audio.
So that if it's their only day to be outside, they'll be active for the paying public. At Big Cat Rescue, the cats have far more space per cat than most other facilities. But even still, it's far too small in our opinion. That's why we built the 2.5-acre vacation rotation enclosure. Each of our lions and tigers can enjoy a 2-week vacation in this open air space that has a pond, a fountain, lots of dens, tunnels, platforms, and trees to enjoy. Big cats are solitary by nature, and most of our cats prefer to live alone and vacation alone. We don't force our cats to share space or fight over food. They each have well over 1,200 square feet of space to themselves in their own cat-a-tats. But then, twice a year, they get 2 weeks vacation in this huge space. We move the cats to and from vacation via above-ground tunnels around the sanctuary. The only time there are multiple cats in the cages or on vacation together is if they've been raised together and truly enjoy the company. Anywhere that you see cats living together, they are neutered or spayed to ensure that we do not breed cats for life in cages. Even this huge vacation area is still a cage, and we do not believe that wild cats belong in captivity. We do the best we can for the cats we rescue, but the best thing all of us can do is end the trade in exotic cats by never paying to see or touch cubs.
Okay, so a couple things. I'm just scrolling down through here, but one that I just saw. Georgia, the fence here is actually to keep our guests away from the other fence that you see on the other side of that, which is where the cat is, right? So we try to keep a good distance away when we do have guided tours here. Keeps everybody safe. All right, so some of you are asking questions about the video. How many takes did it take and how many chicken nuggets did I go through? Tammy, I went through about 6 chicken nuggets. Reason is that, well, I don't eat a ton of fried food, and so not a huge fan sometimes. And also, I was really kind of excited for the vegan chicken nuggets, and then on a hot day when you're trying to do something like that, it's not the best. So I opted to do 1 take with that, but I actually did the video twice. So down this enclosure, or down the tunnel once, and then back, and then down the tunnel again, because about halfway down, and I don't know if you can see, there's stairs that go over the tunnel about halfway down there. I actually fell headfirst into the side of the cage, and my camera was looking up at the sky. So it was interesting. So we use the tunnels here to guide the cats to their enclosures on and off of vacation. Now, when it does come to this, they start off down at their enclosure down there. The tunnel weaves its way through almost the whole sanctuary. And then once it gets to the cat's enclosure, we open up that door on that end, and sometimes the cat runs through. Sometimes they're super finicky and picky, kind of like I was in that video, and they don't really know what's going on, or they just are smart. The cats that are smart will typically sit there, lay down, and just wait. And they wait for a keeper to come around with a big bucket of meat, because we're not going to force them along. And then once they get all the way to the end and on vacation, they go, oh my gosh, look at this, look at all this space. They run around like crazy, and they have a couple weeks out there, and usually we got to coax them to get them on back home, right? It's not just simply, hey, come back on home, right? So, all right, so I'm going to scroll on up. We have no date to be open as of right now. We're just closed due to COVID-19, and as we all know, COVID-19 doesn't really have a date for us. All right, so I did see Nikki out and about, so we're gonna make our way over there. All right, so how can you become, well, moderator? All right, so It's going to a Luana department. Thankfully, our awesome moderating team today has Luana on it, so maybe she can answer that. And my phone has raindrops all over it. It's gross. All right, so making my way around to see the Nick, her royal lioness. Yes, ask any questions that you might have. Fire away. I'm happy to help anybody out. And please, 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 if somebody seems like they're asking a question that the haters would ask, don't dog on them. Answer their question, help them out. One of the most interesting things that I find and fascinating things that I find is when we have people that are haters that come to us that say bad things, and then all of a sudden they open their eyes and they go, oh my gosh, you guys are doing something completely different than what I thought. You guys are great, and they become some of our biggest fans. So please answer their questions. And Jocelyn, stick around. I promise you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. Oh, Jocelyn replied to Robin. Robin, stick around. Jocelyn, thank you for sticking around. And if I don't answer your question, just type it again. That's all you got to do. And I will fire it right back up and hopefully go ahead and answer. So where was her royal lioness? I see Kimba over there, so I'll say hi to Kimba in a minute. There she is. Nope, no laggers. We should make BCR rocks. That would be awesome. Hey, hi, how are you? Nikki.
Nikita was found when she was a year old in a crack house during a drug bust in Tennessee. She was chained to the wall with a short chain on a concrete floor, so she got no exercise and arrived here with huge swellings on her elbows that took months to heal. She was so thin that you could carry her under one arm. In addition to being underfed, she had not had a proper diet, so she had a plethora of nutritional issues to deal with as well. The authorities took her to the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere, but she had been declawed and could not live with the zoo's other lions. Big Cat Rescue agreed to take Nikita in, as well as 3 bobcats that all arrived in 2001. At age 5, she had become a tall, healthy adult lioness, but remained very lanky because she was a picky eater. That changed when our financial support grew to a point where we could afford the expensive ground meat, specially designed carnivore diet we now use. Nikita loved it and filled out quickly to the 500-pound lioness you see today. When Nikita was younger, she was extremely playful and loved to roll on her back and grab her paws or try to do somersaults whenever visitors stopped by to talk with her. Now in her senior years, we still occasionally observe a slow roll onto her back for visitors.
Nick. Yes, all hail the queen. Oh, we may see her get up. How you doing? What's going on? She's like, sir, I really don't care what you have to say. You never bring me food. Looks like you got some mowing, some pressure washing that happened over there. Oh, we're moving to the sunlight. Nicer spot. And we're down. Yeah, large cats in many ways are somewhat similar in their, I guess, calm behavior as your house cat, right? They see sun, they lay in it. They see squirrel, they sometimes chase it. Unless it's Nikki. Nikki's just, squirrel, whatever. But they definitely are not good to own. Howard is he actually did most of the voiceover content on the audio. I think there's a couple that are done by a gentleman named Jeff for a few of the older cats. So if you do hear a different voice, that's who that is. Barbara, I agree. Hey, look, bobcat. Oh, joke never gets old to me. All right, so I am gonna play Kimba's story as long as I don't get yelled at by Kimba. Yes, not a pet. So Kimba is on the platform right there.
Kimba is a male tiger who was rescued from the circus in Guatemala, along with 2 other tigers, Max and Simba. Kimba is the youngest, born sometime in 2017. They came to us after Guatemala passed a law banning the circus. Animal Defenders International was a major force behind passing that law. The tigers were supposed to have been turned over to authorities. Instead, Hermanos Ponce Circus went on the run. In June 2018, Animal Defenders International and authorities had found the circus and implemented the rescue mission. Because tigers are an endangered species, we needed an import permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to bring them here. We applied for a permit in August 2018. It took 11 months to obtain the import permit and 3 more months to obtain an export permit from Guatemalan authorities. The cats finally arrived in November 2019. They were flown into Miami on a cargo plane, and our rescue team picked them up at Miami Airport and drove them to Tampa. During the 15 months from our application to their arrival, generous donors to Big Cat Rescue helped us fund their care in Guatemala at a temporary facility operated by ADI. During the handover from the circus to ADI, the circus workers started beating Kimba viciously with an iron bar until he bled. The ADI rescuers intervened to save his life. Kimba was terrified with a bleeding leg and mouth. In circus confinement, even such powerful predators are completely at the mercy of their captors. But thanks to the visitors and donors who allow us to provide lifetime care, no one will ever harm Kimba again.
So as you may have heard just a second ago, Kimba is telling me what's up. He's giving me his instructions like, hey dude, back up, I need some distance here. So I did. Hi Kimba. Alright, you do your thing, okay? Susan, I like your comment there. You ask a question, you get 10 answers. We love you guys. Ask a question and everybody pops up. What are you going about? Are you just wanting me to come over here? Yeah? No, you're onto something. Who's over there? Okay, so it looks like Jinx is pacing. He's not. The funny thing about Jinx and all these cats, they're incredibly intelligent. So something's up and something has his attention. So I'm gonna see if I can walk over here and see if he moves. Karen, how can anybody hurt anything this beautiful? Well, ignorance, stress, money. I think you can open up a rabbit hole with that one. All right.
Manny is a male jaguar born in 2006. He arrived at Big Cat Rescue in December 2017 from Omaha, Nebraska's AZA-accredited Henry Doorly Zoo. The zoo was in the process of constructing new natural habitats, and some of their current exhibits were being replaced. When Big Cat Rescue learned that the zoo was searching for a GFAS-accredited sanctuary to provide a new home for Manny and for Natalia the Amur leopard, we immediately offered to take them and became their forever home. Jaguars are the largest of South America's big cats. They once roamed the entire continent all the way north to the U.S.-Mexican border. Today, significant numbers of jaguars are found only in remote regions of South and Central America, particularly in the Amazon basin. Unlike most other exotic cats, jaguars are very aquatic and good swimmers. They have even been known to swim across the Panama Canal searching for prey. The name jaguar comes from the Native American word jaguar, which means he who kills with one leap. Jaguars are powerful hunters. Rivers provide prey in the form of fish, turtles, and caimans. They also eat larger animals like deer. They sometimes climb trees to prepare an ambush, killing their prey with one powerful bite.
So there you go, Manny's story. A couple things. Yes, I'm sorry. This is Manny, not Jinx. Jinx was like right up in front of me during the Instagram or the TikTok just a little bit ago. Let's see. Other thing. I do want to address one thing. Deborah did say, I can't believe people still donate to this woman. Just to make something really clear, we're a 501c3. We are not Carol's Toy Box. Carol's made it very clear that we are a retirement home for these cats. And so no matter if, you know, she's got $10 or to her name, or if she has millions of dollars to her name, right? We're still a nonprofit, and we're here to take care of these guys. We're not an entertainment facility. We're not a place to, you know, put cats on display, have somebody come in and scratch their head or anything like that. We're a retirement facility. So when it does come down to it, yes, your donations go directly to the cats, and it's incredibly important that those donations come in because it does help support the cats. Each cat does also have its own fund that we set up for it. So in case anything does happen, the cats can't, to BCR, the cats are funded for their life. So as far as donations or anything along those lines, that's how they work. They go to the cats to support them, to pay for taking care of them, to help out. Now, one of the ways that others donate, for example, take all of our volunteers. Oh, hi. Yes, I'm moving. How dare I? So one of the other ways that we donate is our time. And our time is the most expensive thing that we possibly have on this planet. And so simply by you watching, sharing, liking the videos, getting other people involved, that is also an incredible form of donation that we do support. And that helps us out in a great way because it brings more people in to help with the funding of these cats. So as far as, I guess, understanding how our donations work, we don't ask for any one person to deliver their whole bank account to us. We don't go out of our way to, you know, find our cats. We're a retirement home. We try to give them the best possible life that we can while they are in our care. So as far as that goes, that is what we do here. What's up, guys? Yeah, we're doing 3 lives today. Yep. All right, so we're back to the small cats over here. Let me check time. If I saw Manny in the wild, I would probably freeze and pray to every single god that's on the planet. And then I'd reach in my pocket and hope that there was something in there that I could throw and distract the cat. Well, our servals all seem to be sleeping. So this is serval row. Serval row is where we come, or where our servals stay, due to just the size of the enclosure on this side of the sanctuary. But many people tend to get these animals as cats just because they think that they're good pets. Well, it turns out reality sets in, and, well, servals are still wild animals. Don't care how much breeding you've done. Dawn, thank you very much. Carol's Army. Flintster up top, snoozing away. We've made a lap. I think I see a small butt, though. There she is. Smalls.
The The female bobcat Smalls is one of 6 cats rescued from Spirit of the Hills, a sanctuary in South Dakota that had their USDA license revoked due to poor conditions there. Smalls was born in 2014 and arrived at Big Cat Rescue in October 2016. Her former keeper in South Dakota told us that Smalls was dropped off at Spirit of the Hills in 2013 by people who found her drowning in a creek in Wyoming. He said she had pneumonia when she arrived and spent her first week at the vet's office. Because we were told she lived with a male bobcat, she was spayed very shortly after she arrived. While she was sedated, we removed a number of rotten teeth.
Well, I guess that was all that audio. Okay, so yep, we have around 50 cats at this time. Smalls is taking her cat nap. Bridget will probably come around and say hi to her in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to request a little bit later on the Caturday walkabout over on YouTube that Bridget stop by Dez, because I can't get over there. And also, well, Dez is usually not right up by the walking path. And then also Hutch, because I know Nancy really wants to see Hutch. Hey, I'm back. Oh, oh, that's funny. Do you have something for me? All right, so Gilligan is at the base of that rock, of his rock enclosure. So right at the base of that, where you see the leaves, behind the ferns, you will find a Gilligan.
Gilligan is a male Canada lynx. Approximate date of birth, January 1st, 2007. Rescued May 5th, 2013. Gilligan's age is unknown. He was purchased along with Skipper at an auction. Gilligan had the tiniest cage, measuring 5 by 7. It was also the dirtiest of all the cages. The mud floor was not mud, but feces covered with a sprinkling of straw. It appeared as though Gilligan had tried to keep much of his waste confined to one area on top of his plastic doghouse. He had perched atop the house day after day to defecate. The large pile of feces cascaded out the side of his cage. It was clear that his cage had not been cleaned in several months. Strewn about the cage were bits of meat, bones, and fur. The doghouse was too small for Gilligan to fit in, and other than a small child's play picnic table, he had nowhere to escape the weather. He was forced to sleep in the open and surrounded by filth. Because Gilligan's cage was so small, there was not enough room for big cat rescuers to enter it with nets and a crate. So using wire that they had brought, they constructed a secondary enclosure to the door and inside placed the crate filled with soft, dry hay. Gilligan was unsure about this new crate, and despite its appeal of warmth and dryness, he refused to enter it. He was left to contemplate entering the crate on his own, while big cat rescuers moved on to try and catch Skipper. After Skipper was captured and carried to the big cat rescue trailer, Gilligan had still refused to enter the crate. With no other options, he was sedated with a blow dart. He quickly fell asleep, and Dr. Justin did a full exam. After the exam, he was gently placed in the crate and given the reversal agent for the tranquilizer. When he awoke, he was in a soft bed of hay, being loaded into the trailer for his long trip back to Tampa. Gilligan seems absolutely blissful in his new enclosure. In his first days, he constantly sniffed all around, soaking in the fresh air. He was also quite amazed with the wildlife that abounds at the sanctuary, from cardinals to lizards to squirrels. He is very observant and intently watches as they flit and scurry about.
I think I may have played Gilligan first, didn't I? It's one of those days. One cup of coffee in, and this is what happens. All right, so let's see here. I did see It's worth hearing the story again. It is, for anybody that may have come in late. All right, so somebody did ask, and I saw many answers to this, but I want to just kind of elaborate on it. Has a cat ever gotten out, and if so, what do we do? All right, so if a cat gets out, we have a lot of protocols in place to make sure we're safe. So we have codes that we'll call out on the radio that will denote the size of the cat, first off. We also have many buildings throughout the sanctuary, like sheds and trailers and things like that. Now, they're not there specifically just in case a cat gets out. They're there because they hold tools and supplies and stuff like that. But we know where to go, how to get to the quickest one, what to do when we're in there. And then as far as, I guess, a cat ever getting out, we've never had a cat get out. So, and the reason for that is that if you take a look at our enclosures, you'll see that, like over here, here is an entrance to an enclosure, right? A human entrance. You got a lock that only a handful of people have here, right? The key to, right? Carol, Jamie, maybe Afton, right? So we got a lock there. You also have more locks inside, more doors with locks on them. And so in order for a cat to get out, we would really all have to mess up doing something. There's a lot of eyes when we do open up any of these doors to make sure that, you know, they're closed behind us. And even when the cat's locked in another part of the enclosure when we're working on these, because we'll lock the cat away so we can do what we need to do in that area. For example, we'll lock Duchess away later so we can clean up her place. We make sure, multiple people do, that the locks are in place and the doors are closed to make sure the cat can't get to us, right? So there you go. All right, so let's see. Any other questions before I have to? Yep, we don't do tours of rehab because we don't want the cats getting used to us. Right, the whole point of rehab is to be able to release them. All right. What is the TikTok for Big Cat Rescue? I think it's just Big Cat Rescue. But you're talking to somebody that is well versed in technology that has no idea how to use TikTok. Is the Moo Monster out? I'm pretty sure Bridget will wake her up later. All right, so we've reached that part of our tour. Maybe, there we go. Where we need to talk about important things. Now, just so you know, after this tour, we will be over at the dailybigcat.com at 12:15 to go ahead and do our Daily Big Cat tour, but we need to talk about the important stuff. So let's do just that.
Today you've heard story after story of these magnificent animals being abused or abandoned. They're estimated to be 10 to 20,000 big cats, mostly living in deplorable conditions in private hands. These animals belong in the wild, not in backyards and roadside zoos. The laws that claim to ensure a humane existence for these animals just don't work. As one example, the USDA rule for the minimum space for a tiger cage is what you see on the sign on this circus wagon. Make normal postural and social adjustments with adequate freedom of movement. With this rule language, the owner of a tiger doesn't know how big a cage has to be. And an inspector, many of whom are veterinarians and really do care about the animals, doesn't know when to cite someone for too small a cage. So almost no one ever gets cited, and tigers spend their entire lives in tiny, concrete-floored prison cells. Florida does specify how big the cage has to be, and is one of the more generous state laws. In Florida, you can keep 2 500-pound tigers in a 10 by 24-foot space, like this memorial plaque area, slightly bigger than a parking spot on a concrete slab. This would be like keeping your domestic cat in a 3-foot-long dog carrier for their entire life. The only way to stop this abuse is a federal ban on private ownership. It's not often in our daily lives that we get to do something that really makes a difference, but you can today. We have a federal bill that would end private ownership and the abuse of cub petting. The bill will pass if members of Congress hear that enough of their constituents care about this issue. We make it very easy to do. If you are a United States resident and you have a cell phone, please take it out now. To show your support for the Big Cat Public Safety Act and to urge your elected officials to do the same, text CATS to 52886. Message and data rates may apply. You'll receive an automated response containing a link to our campaign page. Click the link and follow the prompts to make the call of the wild today before you leave the sanctuary. Our goal is to get this bill passed before the next plaque marking the death of one of the mistreated cats you met today goes up on this memorial wall. If you are willing, this call is truly the most meaningful thing you can do to help us stop the mistreatment of these amazing animals that deserve so much better. Last, thank you very much for coming to visit us today and for supporting the cats with your tour fee, gift shop purchases, donations, and calls to Congress. Does anyone have any questions before we go inside?
You guys are all very welcome. I like doing these tours for you all and educating people on what exactly we're doing here at Big Cat Rescue. And Nikki made a comment, is that, you know, she still cries when she takes a look at the memorial wall here. And, you know, it's sad. It really is that all of these cats had to live in captivity, and usually behind it there's some person that felt the need to breed it and attempt to keep it. And what I see when I look at this are cats that were incredibly fortunate to be able to have their last years or most of their life at a place where they could be loved and people could take care of them and really give them the best possible life that they could have, even being, you know, in a pretty crappy situation of having to live in captivity, right? And so we try incredibly hard here at Big Cat Rescue, and that's why I got a little bent earlier. And I'm sorry about why would people ever donate to Carol's facility. And it's because we do a lot of great stuff, and it's because we work hard and we make sure that all the cats that we have here are going to be, you know, well taken care of, right? State-of-the-art hospital, best food possible, you know, so on and so forth. So I'm glad you guys did learn. You know, I really do appreciate being able to help you guys out, and feel fairly fortunate to do so. So here's what we're going to do. It is currently 12:07. I have no idea where my wife is. I got to figure that out. In about 7 minutes, we're going to fire up, and we are going to go live at dailybigcat.com. So head over to dailybigcat.com. I've already staged the video, so it's ready. You can get your seat for the virtual tour, even though it's unlimited seats. So if you want to head on over there, bookmark the page. We'll be over in a minute. Grab yourself some coffee, top that up, and we will see you all in just a few minutes over at dailybigcat.com. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.